10 tips for effective cross-cultural communication. In today's diverse workplace, communication issues can take on an added dimension of complexity. Every culture has its own set of tacit assumptions and tendencies when it comes to face-to-face interactions, and trying to get your point across effectively can sometimes be difficult, even when a language barrier doesn't exist. Cross-cultural communication can be challenging. Here are top 10 tips for effective cross-cultural communication. First, maintain etiquette. Many cultures have specific etiquette around the way they communicate. Before you meet, research the target culture, or if time allows, do some cross-cultural training. For example, many cultures expect a degree of formality at the beginning of communication between individuals. Every culture has its own specific way of indicating this formality. THEA and Frau in Germany means Mr. and Mrs., reversing family and given names in China, and the use of san in Japan for men and women, etc. Be aware of these familiarity tokens and don't jump straight to first name terms until you receive a cue from the other person to do so.
Tips number 2. Avoid slang. Not even the most educated non-native English speaker will have a comprehensive understanding of English slang, idioms, and saying. They may understand the individual words you have said, but not the context or the meaning. As a result, you could end up confusing them or, at worst, offending them. Example of slang word: are you kidding me? See ya. What's up? I feel you. Cash. Chill.
If English is the common language in a cross-cultural situation, it's not a good idea to speak at your normal conversational speed. Modulating your pace will help, as well speaking clearly and pronouncing your words properly. Break your sentences into short, definable sections and give your listener time to translate and digest your words as you go. But don't slow too much. If the person you're speaking to is talking too quickly or their accent is making it difficult for you to understand them, don't be afraid to politely ask them to slow down too.
Keep it simple. In a cross-cultural conversation, there's no need to make it harder for both of you by using big words. Just keep it simple. 2 syllables words are much easier to understand than 3 syllables words. And 1 syllables words are much better than 2 syllables words. Say, please do this quickly, rather than please do this in efficacious manners. Practice active listening. Active listening is a very effective strategy for improving cross-cultural communication. Restate or summarize what other person has said to ensure that you have understood them correctly, and ask frequent questions. This helps build rapport and ensure that important information doesn't get missed or misunderstood.
Number 6. Take turns to talk. Make the conversation flow more freely by taking it in turns to speak. Make a point and then listen to the other person respond. Particularly when people are speaking English as their second language, it's better to talk them in short exchanges rather than delivering a long monologue that might be difficult for them to follow. For example, the adult might say, "First you can have a turn with a toy," or "Now it's my turn to play with a toy." Using direct language and explicitly stating when it's time to take turns helps the child to learn approximately take turns. Games. This skill can also be illustrated when playing games.
Tips on how to have an effective cross-cultural communication. Number 7. Avoid closed questions. Don't praise a question that needs a yes or no answer. In many cultures, it is difficult or embarrassing to answer in the negative, so you will always get a yes even if the real answer is no. Ask open-ended questions that require information as a response instead. Example of open-ended question. Tell me about your relationship with your supervisor. How do you see your future? Tell me about the children in this photograph. What is the purpose of government? Why did you choose this answer?
Number 8. Be careful with humor. Many cultures take businesses very seriously and believe in behaving professionally and following protocol at all times. Consequently, they don't appreciate the use of humor and jokes in a business context. If you do decide to use humor, make sure it will be understood and appreciated in the other culture and not cause offense. Be aware that British sarcasm usually has a negative effect abroad. Example, putting things into perspective. Most situations are not as bleak as they appear when looked at from a playful and humorous point of view. Humor can help you reframe problems that might otherwise seem overwhelming and damage a relationship.
Number 9. Write things down if you're not sure whether the person has understood you properly. Write it down to make sure. This can be particularly helpful when discussing large figures. For example, in the UK, they write a billion as 1 with 6 0, but in the US, it's written as 1 with 12 0.
Be supportive. Effective cross-cultural communication is about all parties being comfortable or feeling comfortable in any conversation with a non-native English speaker. Treat them with respect. Do your best to communicate clearly and give them encouragement when they respond. This will help build their confidence and trust with you.